Connections are all around us, and we're not talking about the latest and greatest New York Times games obsession, or even the one that got away on Hinge. This week, we're talking about ecological connectivity, like how the landscape features are connected and what that means for wildlife. So, strap in, folks, because we are going spatial!
Ecological connectivity is the degree to which landscape facilitates or impedes ecological flows. These ecological flows can be on the organismal scale with gene flow, individual movement, populations, or even species range shifts. Again, the scale matters. Connectivity can be on a large scale, like the great migrations of species like wildebeest or birds, or smaller, like animals moving from one forest patch to another while foraging.
Let's look at an example. Say there's a frog trying to cross from one pond to another. Sounds familiar? The landscape here is not very connected. Our frog has to find a safe path all the way across the road without getting squished by a car or blocked by the center dividers. Then when they get to the river, the frog has to hop on the back of a turtle and they may dive under, leaving you stranded. Okay, so maybe frogs aren't traveling on turtle backs, but what if instead these were small patches of habitat within a matrix of unsuitable habitat? The frog still has functional connectivity and can use those as stepping stones on their journey to the new pond.
Let's think about this from the perspective of a bird. Here the ponds are easily accessible with or without the road. Again, scale is important. If our bird needed to, say, travel from one side of a mountain to another, it might not be so easy. And our frog, it would almost never make it to the other side of the mountain. Landscapes also change over time. Our little frog pond might be very healthy in fall, but could just be a sad little puddle come summertime. So we have to consider scale when looking at connectivity and think about the species we're examining.
Maintaining connectivity is important not only for the short-term survival of an individual, like don't squish our little frogger, but also for the long-term health of a population and species. Connectivity maintains the flow of resources like nutrients, gene flow, increases recolonization, protecting those populations' persistence, allows for adaptation to environmental change through things like migration, and is related to fitness by affecting patterns in foraging, breeding, etc.
This is why it is critical for managers to consider ecological connectivity, especially in the face of increased human impacts and climate change. Here are just a few examples of how connectivity research has been used by biologists and managers. They have used tracking data to identify where wildlife-friendly road crossings should be built to prevent road collisions, targeted the removal or modification of fencing for the migration of pronghorn across their historical ranges, and in logging, looked at the configuration of harvested trees to find patches to maintain connectivity for wildlife.
All you shoot-dang spatial ecologists, we've reached the end. Thank you so much for joining us in our fun-filled videos, and we hope you learned a lot along the way. So, Frogger Tournament?
Well, I'm going to redo that. Okay.
Leaving your turtle stranded.
Shooty shoot, dangity dang dang.